Welcome to the Insurance Brokers Podcast, Helpful Hints. Here we break down the best, most informative bits of our full-length interviews.
I think one of the things that can become unstuck is when you are either working with a big organization or are a big organization, is some of that decision making and implementation processes can get a bit slowed up. And that's why I think sometimes outsourcing can be difficult, because if you've got so many different chains to go through on both sides, it can get quite awkward. But I 100% agree with you, and I think as an outsourced supplier, you have to be really careful about the type of organizations you work with, because it's a fundamental human-to-human relationship that needs to be understood at the base level before you can get the partnership right, before you can really understand each other's business, because it's a give and take process. So I think it's quite an interesting perspective. Do you think there's a place for outsourcing in the WAM companies right through to the small brokerages, and what do you think the pros and cons of both are?
Yeah,
I'm going to say partnering.
Yeah, partnering is a much better word, by the way. I totally agree with you on that. With the larger firms, the WAM companies, as you call them, I think the question was, is there a place for outsourcing? And the answer is absolutely, there is. Do the WAM organisations always accept that they don't have the expertise in-house themselves? No, I don't think they do. I think they can become a little bit insular. They are sometimes reluctant to accept that they may not always have the best solutions and the best ideas and the best capabilities. So the answer is yes, I think absolutely there is a place for outsourcing with the WAM companies. I think they're less receptive to outsourcing. It does happen. Most of the outsourcing that I saw, particularly sort of this type of training that I saw at Willis and indeed at Marsh, frankly, was wasted. We went through training courses, we went through webinars, we went through meetings, and all very interesting. And about a month later, we'd all forgotten what we were taught, because it's far more difficult with such a large organisation for you to create that personal connection that is the foundation of a proper partnership. Partnership is about personalities and people trusting each other and people really understanding what makes each other tick. Very, very difficult in a large organisation. And that's, I think, one of the big advantages for smaller firms. I think if the smaller firm has the vision to understand where outsourcing can supplement what they do, and obviously there's a cost involved to that, but I think most companies, if they look at outsourcing properly and they've really considered carefully what type of outsourcing they want, they would see it as an investment, not as a cost. And I think the benefit then of that outsourcing relationship, provided you choose the right partner, is exponentially more valuable than it is with the large organizations, because you can really create the connection and that long-term partnership that you just can't do with the big multinationals.